of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, entitled The Cosmic Manifestation. Chapter 10, Srimad Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. And today's text is number 36. Please repeat. Sabhaja Bhaja Kataya.
Sabhaja Bhaja Kataya.
Sabhaja Bhaja Kataya.
Sabhaja Bhaja Kataya.
Bhagavan Brahma Rupa Brahmarupatre.
Bhagavan Brahmarupatre.
Bhagavan Brahmarupatre.
Bhagavan Brahmarupatre.
Namarupa Kriyadate.
Namarupa Kriyadate.
Namarupa Kriyadate.
Namarupa Kriyadate.
Sakarma karma kapara.
Sakarma karma
Sakarma karma kapara.
Sakarma karma kapara.
Savajya vachakataya.
Savajya vachakataya.
Bhagavan Brahmarupatre.
Bhagavan Brahmarupatre.
Namarupa Kriyadate.
Namarupa Kriyadate.
Sakarma karma kapara.
Sakarma karma kapara.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada.
He, the personality of Godhead, manifests Himself in a transcendental form, being the subject of His transcendental name, quality, pastimes, entourage, and transcendental variegatedness. Although He is unaffected by all such activities, He appears to be so engaged. Purport. Whenever there is a need of material creation, the transcendental personality of Godhead accepts forms in the material world for creation, maintenance, and destruction. One should be intelligent enough to know His activities in truth and not be biased to conclude that He descends to the material world by accepting a form created by material nature. So Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chame divyam eva mil veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punar janma naiti mametu sorjala, that one must know about my birth and activities in truth. And when one actually understands that, the tattva, then one doesn't take birth again in this material world. So the Mayavadis will say that Lord Krishna's body and all the Vishnu Tattva bodies are actually products of Shuddha Sattva, of the mode of goodness, pure mode of goodness, no passion or ignorance in there. But Krishna makes it very clear in Bhagavad Gita that His form is transcendental, above all the modes of nature. And here in the purport, Prabhupada's making the same point, that one must be intelligent to understand that He doesn't appear in this material world with a material form like you and I. Any form accepted from the material nature has its affection for everything done in the material world. A conditioned soul who accepts a material form for undergoing a certain term of material activities is subjected to the laws of matter. But here in this verse, it is clearly stated that although the forms and activities of the Lord appear to be the same as those of a conditioned soul, they are supernatural and impossible for the conditioned soul. He, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always unaffected by such activities. In the Bhagavad Gita 4.14, the Lord says, Namam karmani limpanti name karma pales priha iti mam yoga janati karma virna sabhadyute. The Lord is never affected by the activities which He apparently performs by His different incarnations and personalities, nor does He have any desire to achieve success by fruitive activities. The Lord is full by His different potencies of wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, and thus He has no reason for physical exertion like the conditioned soul. Therefore, an intelligent person who can distinguish between the transcendental activities of the Lord and the activities of the conditioned souls is also not bound by the reactions of activities. Just having this knowledge, We want to hear about Krishna's birth. All day today we had this opportunity to meditate on Krishna's transcendental birth. And Prabhupada says here that just by understanding this, being able to distinguish between the transcendental acts of the Lord, which include his janma, to be able to distinguish that from the activities of the conditioned soul, that alone is enough so that the conditioned soul who understands that is not bound by the reactions of activities. In other words, one can become liberated. Tyakva devam punar janma naiti. One doesn't have to take birth again in this material world. The Lord, as Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva, conducts the three modes of material nature. From Vishnu is born Brahma, and from Brahma is born Shiva. Sometimes Brahma is a separated part of Vishnu, and sometimes Brahma is Vishnu himself. Thus, Brahma creates the different species of life all over the universe, which means that the Lord creates the whole manifestation either by himself or through the agency of his authorized deputies. End of Srila Prabhupada's purport. So the Lord creates or manifests this whole phenomenal world, and sometimes he chooses to appear within it. So today is the most auspicious day of Sri Krishna Janma. And there's a mystery about Krishna's birth. And it's such a confidential mystery that most Vaishnavas don't even understand it. It's a very confidential point. So I thought we would begin by looking at one verse from the 10th canto, chapter 3, where Prabhupada hints or introduces the mystery of Krishna's birth. So this is text 47 of that chapter, which reads, Tatascha Surya Bhagavat Prachodita Sutam Samadhaya Sasutika Grahat Yada Bahir Gantum Iyesha Taryaja Yayoga Maya Janinanda Jayaya. Translation. Thereafter, see what's happening in the story here. This is the chapter called The Birth of Lord Krishna. So Krishna has appeared to his parents in the prison house of Kamsa, to Vasudeva and Devaki. And Vasudeva has been instructed to take Krishna from the prison house of Kamsa, to carry him over the Yamuna River and bring him to the residence of Nanda Maharaj in Gokul, where Yashoda is there. And so this verse is spoken just before Vasudeva is about to carry baby Krishna to Gokula. Thereafter, exactly when Vasudeva, being inspired by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was about to take the newborn child from the delivery room, Yogamaya, the Lord's spiritual energy, took birth as the daughter of the wife of Maharaj Nanda. So that's Yashoda. Yogamaya took birth from the womb of Yashoda. Prabhupada's purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur discusses that Krishna appeared simultaneously as the son of Devaki and as the son of Yashoda, along with the spiritual energy Yogamaya. As the son of Devaki, he first appeared as Vishnu. And because Vasudeva was not in the position of pure affection for Krishna, Vasudeva worshipped his son as Lord Vishnu. Yashoda, however, pleased her son Krishna without understanding his godhood. This is the difference between Krishna as the son of Yashoda and as the son of Devaki. This is explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti on the authority of Harivamsha. So Prabhupada doesn't give more elaboration here, But in other places we will find more pramana, more evidence that Krishna Janmashtami is actually, this Mahotsava, is actually a celebration of a dual appearance of Krishna. He appears simultaneously from the womb of Devaki in Mathura and from the womb of Yashoda. So we're going to talk about this a little bit more. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and other acharyas have elaborated a little bit more on this point. First, I want to look at a few references that I wanted to bring to your attention. So let's first go to the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 4, text number 7. So here, this is discussing confidential reasons for the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. But in discussing the appearance of Lord Chaitanya, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami brings up the appearance of Krishna. So beginning with text 7, Krishnadas Kaviraj writes, "The scriptures proclaim that Lord Krishna previously descended to take away the burden of the earth. To take away this burden, however, is not the work of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The maintainer, Lord Vishnu, is the one who protects the universe." So what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? Pritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam. Krishna is saying to Arjuna, I appear millennium after millennium to do what? Rescue the devotees and to annihilate the demons. When he's speaking on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he is not speaking as Braja Krishna. He is speaking, as we're going to learn a little bit more about, Vasudeva Krishna. Vishnu, an expansion of Vishnu form. In any case, so it is not Krishna that kills the demons, but it is Vishnu. Let's continue. But the time to lift the burden of the world mixed with the time for Lord Krishna's incarnation. When the complete Supreme Personality of Godhead descends, that means Sri Krishna Bhagavan, all other incarnations of the Lord meet together within him. Lord Narayan, the four primary expansions, Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Prajuna, and Aniruddha, Matsya, and the other Leela incarnations, the Yuga avatars, the Manvantara incarnations, and as many other incarnations as there are, all descend in the body of Lord Krishna. In this way, the complete Supreme Godhead, Lord Krishna himself, appears. At that time, therefore, Lord Vishnu is present in the body of Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna kills the demons through him. Thus, the killing of the demons is but secondary work. I shall now speak of the main reason for the Lord's incarnation. So one more verse here. The Lord's desire to appear was born from two reasons. The Lord wanted to taste the sweet essence of the mellows of love of God. Meaning, here, he wanted to taste the mellows of loving exchanges. And he wanted to propagate devotional service in the world on the platform of spontaneous attraction. That means Braja Bhakti. Thus he's known as supremely jubilant and as the most merciful of all. One more verse, 27. Taking these pure devotees with me, Krishna is speaking about his Braja Bhaktas in Goloka. Taking my Braja Bhaktas with me, I shall descend and sport in various wonderful ways, unknown even in Vaikuntha. I shall broadcast such pastimes by which even I am amazed. So this is the real purpose of Krishna's descent. in his original transcendental form of Raja Krishna is to put on a drama and to invite the audience to become attracted to his Vraja Leela and pure Vraja Bhakti by showcasing, by spotlighting his Vraja Bhaktas. He doesn't come to spotlight himself. He comes to spotlight the Vraja Bhaktas.
Where was that last verse from?
It is the 27th verse of that same chapter, Adi 4. Okay, we'll move on to the Madhya Leela, and we'll go to the 20th chapter, where Lord Chaitanya is instructing Sanatana Goswami in the science of the Absolute. And we're going to go all the way deep into the chapter, text 166. This is Lord Chaitanya speaking.
Where is it from again?
This is Madhya 20, text 166. This is Lord Chaitanya speaking to Sanatana Goswami. He says, the original form of the Lord, Swayam Rupa, is exhibited in two forms, Swayam Rupa and Swayam Prakash. In his original form as Swayam Rupa, Krishna is observed as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan. Now, there's going to be a little technical stuff here, and we'll try to smooth it over after we read a few verses. The next text. In his original form, Krishna manifests himself in two features, Prabhava and Vaibhava. He expands his one original form into many, as he did during the Rasa Leela dance. When the Lord married 16,108 wives at Dwarka, he expanded himself into many forms. These expansions and the expansions of the Rasa dance are called Prabhava Prakash, according to the directions of the revealed scriptures. So, when Krishna, in his Swayam Rupa, his original form, expands himself into identical, multiple forms of that Swayam Rupa, those forms are called Prabhava Prakash. So when Krishna is dancing the Ras Leela, every gopi had an identical Krishna form with them. When he was taking lunch with the cowherd boys in the forest, every boy had their own Krishna, thinking Krishna's taking lunch with me alone. Gopis are thinking he's dancing with me alone. They all have identical Krishna expansions. That's called Swayam Prakash. And it's the Prabhava feature or expansion. Going down to 171. If one form, so now this is talking about other expansions of Krishna. Well, first I wanted to say something. Lord Balaram is Vaibhava Prakash. Oh, we're going to get to that. Okay. Let's do text 171. If one form or feature is differently manifested according to different emotional features, it is called Vaibhava Prakash. So the form is the same, but it looks a little different simply because of emotion. That's called Vaibhava Prakash. So text 174. The first manifestation of the Vaibhava feature of Krishna is Shri Balaramaji. Shri Balaram and Krishna have different bodily colors, but otherwise, Shri Balaram is equal to Krishna in all respects. Balaram is said to be the second body of Krishna. The only difference is complexion. Why do they have a different complexion? Krishna's Sham color, right? Dark monsoon cloud. And Balaram is like crystal, white like the moon, reflecting light. It's simply because of the mood, the emotion. So the next three verses. An example of Vaibhava Prakash is the son of Devaki. He sometimes has two hands, sometimes four hands. Okay. Let's go to Goloka. There's Krishna and Balaram. There's no other Vishnu Tattva present in Goloka, Vrindavan, except Krishna and Balaram. Krishna will manifest many, many forms that are identical to himself, and those are called Prabhava Prakash. And then Balaram is present as the only Vaibhava Prakash, a form which is the same as Krishna's, but different emotionally, and therefore something's different, such as complexion. They're the only two Vishnu Tattvas in Goloka Vrindavan. Now we go outside of Goloka Vrindavan, and we find expansions of Krishna all over the place in Vaikuntha, Mathura, Dwarka, and the Vaikuntha Lokas. And those direct expansions of Krishna are called Tad Ekatma Rupa. They are Krishna, but they have different form than Krishna. They don't have the Krishna form. So Narayan, Lord Narayan, is Tad Ekatma Rupa. He's Krishna, but different form. It's a four-armed form, right? Not a two-armed form. And concomitantly, different function, different mood, different emotion. So now when we go outside of Goloka Vrindavan, we find the Chatur Vyuha, the four expansions of Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Prajuna, and Aniruddha. That Vasudeva within that Chatur Vyuha is an expansion of Krishna, ultimately. He appears in this world as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. When he appears as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, he is a Prabhava Prakash of Vasudeva in the spiritual world. When he manifests four hands, for example, right at his birth, he manifested four hands. Prabhupada says he appeared in Vishnu as Vishnu. So that's called Prabhava Prakash, because that's exactly how Vasudeva appears in the spiritual world. But sometimes he manifests only two hands, two arms, as he did after he appeared to Vasudeva and Devaki and spoke. Then he manifested his two-armed form, which he wanted them to carry to Gokula. That two-armed form is called Vaibhava Prakash. Okay, so some technical terms there, just to understand the different types of expansions of Krishna. So let me move on to one more verse. This is going to be also from the Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila, first chapter, and go over to the 67th text. And there, this is a very interesting verse, so please hear, because this verse helps us understand the mystery of Krishna Janmashtami. The Krishna known as Yadu Kumar means the boy of the Yadu dynasty, is Vasudeva Krishna. He is different from the Krishna who is the son of Nanda Maharaj. Yadu Kumar Krishna manifests his pastimes in the cities of Mathura and Dwarka. But Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, never at any time leaves Vrindavan. That is spoken by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That means you can't argue with it. That is the topmost pramana, spoken right from the lips of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the avatari, not an avatar. He says that the Krishna found in Mathura and Dwaraka is known as Yadukumar, or Vasudeva Krishna, and that he's different from the Krishna found in Vrindavan, Vraja Krishna, the son of Nanda and Yashoda. And that Vraja Krishna never leaves Vrindavan or has pastimes outside of Vrindavan. Now I will just read something short from Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada spoke the following in Bombay, November 3, 1974, in a lecture. It's reproduced in the teachings of Lord Kapila. Here's the quote. The Krishna, I like how he says the Krishna, right? Understanding there's more than one Krishna. Oh my God, there's more than one Krishna. He says, the Krishna who engages in killing demons is Vasudeva Krishna, not the original Krishna. The original Krishna does not go anywhere. He never takes a step away from Vrindavan. The other activities performed by Krishna are performed in the Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Aniruddha, or Prajuna forms. And one last quote from Prabhupada. This is important. We're making a point here. I'll read one more quote from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada finishes his writing of the Krishna book with chapter 90. That's the last chapter. And he begins that final chapter by saying the following. In the first paragraph, he says, it is said that Krishna never goes out of Vrindavan. Vrindavanam parityaja padam ekam nagacchati. Krishna is supreme in Mathura. He is more supreme in Dwaraka. And he is most supreme in Vrindavan. Krishna's pastimes in Dwaraka are displayed by his Vasudeva portion. Yet there is no difference between the Vasudeva portion manifested in Mathura and Dwaraka and the original manifestation of Krishna in Vrindavan. In the beginning of this book, we have discussed that when Krishna appears, all his incarnations, plenary portions, and portions of the plenary portions come with him. Thus, here's the conclusion. Some of his different pastimes are manifested not by the original Krishna himself, but by his expansions. So this is very amazing. As I started to say, Krishna's Janmashtami celebration, Krishna's Janma is so mysterious that most Vaishnavas don't understand the mystery of his Janma. But the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas have deeply studied, and with their insight, and finding pramana in the scriptures like this, words spoken directly by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, words penned by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. They have concluded the following, that on Janmashtami Day, Krishna appears simultaneously from the womb of Devaki and the womb of Yashoda. Yashoda actually gives birth to twins. She gives birth to Vraja Krishna and his sister Yogamaya. Simultaneously in his Vasudeva expansion. And that Vasudeva expansion, it takes birth from the womb of Devaki, is a Prabhava Prakash expansion of Krishna's Tad Ekatma Rupa form of Vasudeva in the Chaturvyuha. Vasudeva in the Chaturvyuha expands as Vasudeva Krishna taking birth in Mathura from the womb of Devaki, while Goloka Krishna, Vraja Krishna, appears directly as the son of Yashoda. Yashoda's birth was so difficult, as they say, she didn't even know what she gave birth to. She didn't know if she had a boy or a girl or triplets or, she had no idea what she gave birth to. While she was in her not so conscious position of not even understanding what she just gave birth to, Vasudeva, over there in Mathura, was instructed by Vasudeva Krishna. Vasudeva Krishna had appeared in his Prabhava Prakash form of 4 arms. And he instructed his father Vasudeva that you please carry me across the Yamuna River and deliver me to the home of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Devi. And exchange me for their daughter, bring the daughter back here. Then Vasudeva Krishna manifested his Vaibhava Prakash form of 2 arms. Vasudeva then picked up Vasudeva Krishna and carried him across the river. When he reached the home of Nanda and Yashoda, he approached the bed of Yashoda. And there the Acharyas explain that baby Vasudeva Krishna merged into the body of baby Vraja Krishna. Vasudeva picked up the girl baby, the twin, called Yogamaya, and as instructed, carried her back to Mathura. And we all know how Kamsa then tried to kill her. Yashoda then finally awakens from her kind of unconscious state after giving birth. And she looks down and, oh, I had a baby boy. How about that? And life goes on with everybody thinking that Yashoda gave birth to a baby boy and Devaki gave birth to a baby girl. Krishna, as we read, came to earth to display the glories of his Vraja Bhaktas and their practice of Vraja Bhakti. In Vrindavan, in Vraj, Krishna only plays. There's no work to do. He doesn't have to maintain the universe. He doesn't have to deal with people's karma. He doesn't have to listen to people's prayers. Krishna only plays. When he and the boys go out for lunch in the forest, they get so absorbed in their sakya rasa and their lila of play out there that they don't come home for lunch. And Mother Yashoda and the other gopis, they've packed them lunches to take to the forest, but they want them to come home for a more full lunch. So they're in a lot of anxiety that these boys do not stop their play. We all have that experience. I think we all have that experience. And when we were little kids, we get so absorbed in our play that we would forget about even eating. And our mothers would have to tell us, stop that. It's time for lunch or dinner or whatever. So that's because Krishna and Balaram are like that. So in order to get Krishna to stop his play, to get interrupted, Purnamasi or Yogamaya, who orchestrates and choreographs all of Vraj Leela, she orchestrates that a demon come lives. And they all get scared, right? They go check out Aghasura and enter into, they think it's play. They enter into his mouth thinking, oh, this is some kind of playground or something. So these demons that Krishna kills in Vrindavan, he never pulls out a weapon. Krishna does never manifest as a chakra or a club. Krishna has no weapons. Krishna enters Aghasura's mouth and, oh, my throat feels so hot, I'm suffocating, cough, cough, and he dies. He punches Keshi. His fist goes into Keshi's mouth and it expands. He sucks the breast of Putana. Oh, leave me, child. He flies up into the sky on the Trinavarta tornado. Whee! I'm flying in the sky. And then little baby Krishna weighs as heavy as the whole universe, causing Trinavarta to come crashing to the ground. Krishna never manifests a weapon. Why? Because everything in Vrindavan is just play. He's not thinking, I'm killing a demon. Wow! Prityanaya Vinashaya Chadushkritam, I have to kill these demons because they're going to come and destroy the earth and destroy the human. He's just playing. Like little boys play. Oh, I'm going to touch you with a blade of grass. Boop! Oh, you're dead. And that's what he does. When you go outside of Vrindavan, you go to Mathura and Krishna kills Kamsa. You go to Dwarka and Krishna's killing so many demons. How does he do that? Well, it's not Krishna going outside of Vrindavan. Krishna apparently leaves Vrindavan, but he doesn't. What he does is he transforms his prakat lila, or manifested lila, which is visible to people's eyes, to become aprakat lila, or not visible to the external eyes. And outside of Vrindavan then, Prabhupada twice, I read, 2 different locations, a lecture and Krishna book chapter 90, beginning. Krishna says, a different Krishna does the killing in Dwarka. That is Vasudeva Krishna. That is not Vraj Bhakti. And that Krishna manifests chakra. So don't think that Krishna manifests a chakra. Krishna, devotees say this all the time. Oh, I think Krishna's angry with me because, I can tell Krishna's angry with me because, I lost all my money, or I got sick, or, why is Krishna punishing me? Devotees say that all the time. That is improper talk. Krishna never punishes anybody. He's only playing. Even in Vrindavan, when he kills Keshi and Aghasura and Trinavarta and Putana and Bakasura and etc., he's just playing. Like you play with your friend. And you act like you're getting angry. Come on, let's play cops and robbers. And you act like you're the cop and you're punishing the robber. It's just play. But when he's in Dwarka, then he's manifesting that mood of actually killing demons with chakra. So this is the mystery of Krishna's Janma. And we have all day to read Krishna book in 10th canto, first 3-4 chapters that discuss Krishna's appearance. And let us keep in mind on this day and all days that our Vraja Krishna is nothing but a sweet cowherd boy who plays all day and manifests nothing but love. He never gets angry, he never punishes, he never judges, he never dishes out karma. When you're talking about God on those terms, you're talking about Vishnu, or an expansion such as Vasudeva Krishna. So Shri Krishna Janmashtami ki jai. We'll stop there, see if there's any discussion. Maharaj.
I'm glad you brought this up because we had this conversation a few weeks ago outside the kitchen. Because I was confused. After the class I heard, it just doesn't fit Krishna to be like pull his Sudarshan chakra anytime he wants, you know. And so when you explain that, it really, I went confused after the class, as it's just not right, but
Yeah, and that's why in Dwaraka there's love of Krishna, but it's with the mood of Aishvarya, awe and reverence, because they recognize that Krishna is the master. They recognize he's the supreme person. They recognize he has the power to kill the demon, etc., etc., etc. So there's some awe and veneration there, respecting Krishna's position. There's friendship in Dwaraka, but it's on the level of respectful friendship, where he's greater than me. But Krishna came because he said, all this love, all this devotional service, which is tinged with the mood of awe and reverence, Aishvarya, it doesn't melt my heart. It doesn't melt my heart. So I'm going to come and I'm going to give the greatest show on earth. I'm going to display my Braj Leela with my Braj Bhaktas who engage in pure Braj Bhakti. That love captures my heart and melts my heart, because there, my friends think that they're equal with me. They don't put me in a bigger position. They think they're equal with me, or even better than me. Therefore, they will arm wrestle with me and defeat me. My parents take a superior position, and Mother Yashoda chastises me and chases me with a stick and thinks I'm going to starve to death if I don't eat. And what to speak of the gopis? I'm like a hen-pecked lover. They've got me wrapped around their little finger. And when they chastise me and get all huffy and puffy with me, that pleases me way more than all the words of the Vedas, than all the worship and rituals, than all the Aishvarya Bhakti that's found in Dwaraka. I want to come and reveal that which has never been revealed before, and that's Braj Bhakti. And that is exclusive to the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. You will not find Braj Bhakti, Madhurya Bhakti revealed through the Madhva Sampradaya, the Sri Sampradaya, the Sri Sampradaya, the Brahma Sampradaya, the Rudra Sampradaya, or the Kumar Sampradaya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although he came within, he chose to come within the Brahma Sampradaya, he created his own offshoot Sampradaya, the Gaudiya Sampradaya, which exclusively reveals Braj Bhakti. And only that melts the heart of Krishna. Only that captures Krishna. Only that allows us to go to Goloka Vrindavan. So, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti takpataha. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is telling Arjuna, one must understand my birth and subsequent activities correctly in truth. Then, Jakvadeham punar janma naiti. One will not take birth again. So he's imploring Arjuna to come to that level. Some acharyas have commented, Sarvadhamma Parityajya Mami Kamsharanam Braja. Surrender to me in Braj. Yogendra Prabhu.
Do you really think that he's speaking to Arjuna in that mood? Speaking to the world in that mood? I bet nobody goes back home to Godhead unless they just go to Rajadam.
Well,
that could be for, Eva Vaishnavas also.
Right. It's not only Gaudiya Vaishnavas go back to Godhead, but one has to at least understand it in truth. One has to understand that Krishna, like if you're
prior to Madhavendra Puri and Lord Chaitanya, they didn't necessarily always understand that truth. They understood the truth that the Lord was descending.
Right.
And so I don't know if for them to go to Vaikuntha that they have to understand.
Right, to go to Vaikuntha, to be a bhakta of Narayan,
Right.
But Krishna is speaking to understand him. Krishna is speaking not as Narayan, but as Vasudeva Krishna in Dwarka. So in the Goloka planet, there's 3 divisions. Braj is the inner division where Braja Krishna is. Then there's Mathura and Dwarka in Goloka planet. There's Mathura and Dwarka where Vasudeva Krishna exists. Outside of that big Goloka planet are all the Vaikuntha planets with Narayan as the presiding deity. So when Krishna is speaking on the battlefield of Kurukshetra to Arjuna, he's Vasudeva Krishna. So he's speaking, if one wants to attain him, Vasudeva Krishna, or what to speak of Raja Krishna, one has to understand his birth and activities in truth. Otherwise, one can, through Vaidhi Bhakti, attain the Vaikuntha planets where Narayan is the presiding deity. But Krishna is introducing spontaneous Raganuga Bhakti, which has a different goal than Vaidhi Bhakti.
Can we discuss some more, perhaps a little bit different? So, that's very, that's the absolute truth. But Srila Prabhupada, he's also said that because everything is included in Krishna, and that Krishna can only be worshipped by pure spontaneous love. And obviously, most conditioned souls don't possess that, or they wouldn't be conditioned souls. So even in ISKCON's deity worship, it doesn't necessarily manifest like it might at one of the temples in Vrindavan, one of those 7 main temples. And Prabhupada himself said that the worship is very switched to Lakshmi Narayana because of our neophyteness.
Right. So that is for our purification.
Yeah.
That until we have actual spontaneous devotion for Krishna, which is not sentimental, it has to be an actual achieved spiritual adhikar. Until then, we're told that we should worship the deity in the mood of worship of Lakshmi Narayana for our purification. Otherwise, we can be offensive. It's going to become familiar. Oh, I'm just being spontaneous. It doesn't matter that I forgot to offer Achman, because you can offer a banana peel instead of a banana, on spontaneous devotion. It doesn't matter that I forgot this, or I was late with this, or I messed this up. Krishna understands because we're like lovers, and I can offer him a banana peel. So we don't want to go into that mood. We want to worship the deities very strictly, punctual, cleanliness, etc., for our purification. Then, with that purification, one can legitimately attain some spiritual adhikar, not just sentimentally imitate some spiritual adhikar. That's my understanding.
Sometimes I hear devotees, and I wonder because they'll be very astute, theoretically. Really extremely well read, and they'll be arguing, and somebody doesn't understand their point. They'll say, "Well, you can only understand according to your adhikar." But then I wonder, well, is their adhikar just theoretical? Because I don't know what they do practical all the time, because I don't see them a lot, but I know that they've never engaged in a lot of deity worship. They've mainly been just very studious and involved in the world in different ways.
So because the intellectual platform is so much more subtle than the gross platform, we tend to think, if I'm intellectually absorbed in Shastra and philosophy, etc., wow, I got really good adhikar. I'm really up there. And your IQ is less than mine. You're illiterate. You can't even read. You have less adhikar. But that's not how adhikar is determined.
I guess one example of that would be in the glories of the Gita. There's that story of the Brahmana who wants to understand things, and he's sent to the goat herd.
Yeah. So we should be careful not to conflate the intellectual platform with the spiritual platform. It means we haven't experienced the spiritual platform because we think, I'm there already. Yeah.
I heard everything out, so I didn't hear everything. And I know what you were talking about, but how you said not that many even Vaishnavas know it's so esoteric. Why do you think that is?
Why is that? Why does Krishna make his birth kind of mysterious? I can't tell you why he does that because I can't get into the mind of Krishna. But I could just say that it is mysterious. And I would speculate that by the time we reach the 10th canto, we've been purified, supposedly. Purified through 9 cantos. We've gotten used to getting a little deeper, a little deeper, a little deeper. Our attention is now fixed, hopefully. By the time we get to the 10th canto, it said in the first canto that the transcendentalist never tires of researching about the absolute truth. So if we were to write a nice book, and every sentence is spelled out in clear black and white, and everything is just explained to you in great detail, you don't have to do nothing. You just sit there and read the book. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I know everything. But we're being challenged that, wait a minute, I think I remember reading in the first canto something, something, something. I remember reading in the beginning of the 10th canto something, something, something. Oh, wait a minute, then there's something over there in the CC, Manjulila. Oh, wait, didn't Rupa Goswami and Lord Chaitanya say something? And you got to go and do your little research, and it's nectar to pull out pramana from over here and pramana from over there and put it all together, and you come up with your insight, you know? And then you share it with other devotees who have insight, and then you base it all on the pramana, and you know.
It becomes like a spiritual attachment.
Yeah.
Like
Otherwise, what
it's
would we be
all
doing?
something.
If everything was just fed to us, clear, black and white, we'd just be sitting there. Okay, I'm done. That only took a half hour. What do I do with the other 23.5 hours of the day? You know, you think, okay, I got it all. But if you take the endeavor to do the research and the putting it all together and figuring it out and contemplating it and inquiring from other devotees and looking into other places, you're absorbed. But if you're not absorbed, then what are you doing all day? You know? We want to be absorbed, whether it's intellectually, physically, mentally, somehow or other, get absorbed in Krishna consciousness, researching the absolute truth. Somehow or other, get absorbed. Okay, we'll end with Maharaj.
To add to your little thing, Srimad Bhagavatam, we read this every day. Srimad Bhagavatam have answers to everything. So you got to take that to heart. You know, it's not like I'm getting killed. When I heard that the other day, I walked out very confused. I said, this doesn't match. It doesn't feel right. You know what the devotee was saying. Krishna can who is saying is chakra anywhere, any place, anytime. So then you came right away, and then I asked you, this class I had, is there any other reason like that? And then you right away had the answer. Exactly, you know? So
Yes,
that
sir.
satisfied me. That made me happy.
Fortuitously, Janmashtami fell on Tuesday, so I was able to
And you repeated that all over just now. So